And a good morning from Spakeswalker's Pinewood Derby Race Shop. I thought everybody has their own way of doing things, and I certainly don't intend to have the best way, but I thought I'd just share with you. I'm working on a new Nellie Faye body. It's going to end up being called Nellie Faye 2 if it ends up being fast. I've made several of these bodies now and given away a lot of them because they weren't fast. Run Amok, he's involved in scout racing down in Florida. It's one of the reasons why he's not racing right now. Anyway, if they don't end up being fast, you'll never see them on the track. But anyway, what I was experimenting with was a limited car with extended wheelbase, and that doesn't appear to be the way to go for extended wheelbase. It's having trouble with balancing the car and things like that. But I have developed the body, the way I make it, much better now. One of the things earlier I was having problems with was making the wheel spacing in the fender consistent. I don't know if you can pick that up or not now, but I'm talking about this area here. I've made the tolerance closer and more consistent. And I've devised a way to do that. How do you get the fenders off, or the wheels off? You just put your fingers in here like this and pull it off. Anyway, this is not the purpose of the video this morning. What I'm going to show you is how over 30 years working with balsa and plywood and model airplanes. That's mostly the techniques I use, plus ones I've developed. Right now I've got 3 coats of the super thin CA glue to seal and strengthen the balsa. Any brand will do, as long as it's a CA glue and it's the super thin. It soaks into the balsa and plywood to strengthen it and to seal the wood. So I've got 3 coats of that on the car body at this point. The sandpaper I'm using at this point is 220, which is pretty coarse. But what I want to show you here now is a little trick. If I can get this to show up on the camera. When you reach this point, you can see when you sand it, you're getting a dust that's lifting the glue. The nice thing about this is if you get your body sealed real well with the CA glues, then you're going to end up using less primer to seal the body. And here's a little trick that I've been wanting to show. I think I saw a post by Murph who said he was washing his pipe cleaners. Well, I'm not washing my pipe cleaners yet, but I go through so many paper towels that I said, hey, this ain't right. You know, I use the Bounty Select a Size. So I said, well, I'm going to make a Bounty shop towel. And I just cut it in half, put them all together, cut it in half. And I stack them up to be used. There, you got some Bounty shop towels. Instead of using a full sheet, you end up getting 1, 4, 8 of these shop towels out of one Select a Size sheet. And what I'm going to show you here is, you see this dust that I'm sanding. This area right in here, when you apply that CA glue, if you don't keep that clean, you're not going to get a nice smooth finish on your car. I'm talking about this area right in here, where the plywood butts up against the side of the car body. So before I apply any more, I'm going to take my little handy dandy shop towel and clean all the dust off this car before I reapply. If you don't do that, you're going to end up creating a mess that you don't want. So take that little Bounty shop towel. There's hundreds of uses for these little towels. I was going through these Bounty shop towels like crazy, you know, and they are kind of expensive on the pricey side if you're doing a lot of stuff in the shop. So just make sure you get all that dust out of there, because when we put the CA glue in there, it's going to attach that to the body and will be rough, and then your nice crisp edges won't be here. It'll be rough and you can't sand it out. Anyway, I've got 3 coats so far of the super thin glue. I buy this from Sig Manufacturing, but you can buy this just about anywhere. And I'm going to put, this will be the 4th coat. And I just kind of like to hit it with my tip of my finger to help smooth it out and to keep it from running where you don't want it. Just a little bit at a time, like so. Don't put a lot on there because it's thin and it will run and get in places where you don't want. Plus it also helps the glue cure quicker. It's just kind of like painting it on to what we're doing. I use it for a lot of things, of course, to seal the wood and repair dings and dents. You can repair dings and dents by sanding in the dust in a hole and then applying the CA glue to seal it and fill the hole. So we just put a little bit on at a time, like so. And we move to the other fender. The stuff will run fast. And it's just a light brushing with my fingertip. This will put you a nice slick finish on here. When I stop using the glues, I'm going to be using a 400 grit before my first prime. Also, you notice down in the fender wells, they've been lightly sanded, but I've put the CA glue in this way, and it also soaks down into the balsa, which gives it more strength. And be sure to put a little bit on the edge of balsa, like right here. That sharp edge will chip if you're not careful, but putting the CA glue on it gives it a lot of strength. I'm not going to apply any on the wood and plywood of the body because it's already real slick and sealed. Okay, that's already dry enough to sand. So I'm not going to leave all this on the camera while I do it. You don't press real hard, it just sand like that with the 220. I'll come back on the camera later.